Hello, everyone. I am meteorologist Hutch Johnson. Hey, it's the Thanksgiving holiday travel time, and there is a significant system working its way out of the Colorado Rockies and into the Ohio River Valley, Appalachia, as well as the mid-Atlantic states, where it will impact travel and conditions across that region for Thanksgiving. We'll go over that. We'll look at this cold air pool. The second story is Arctic air will be plunging southward as we go into the holiday weekend ahead, and that's going to impact some travel as well. We'll look at snowfall that's fallen across the area and get you an update. Right now, you're watching Hutch's Weather. We'll start with temperatures. As you see here, air temperatures are in the single digits in Saskatchewan, Regina, and heading up into parts of North Dakota. We already have some near 10-degree readings there. Wind chills are ridiculous. We'll take a look at those later. Look how far south the cold air is as we head into the evening hours now. It's 34 degrees down in southern parts of Kansas, 40 or so in Wichita, and the 50s are down into Oak City. We do have some cool air in the mid 50s for Montgomery, Alabama, and looking up in the mid-Atlantic states, we have some mid 40s there. So the Great Lakes region, mighty cold, including Minnesota, northern parts of Wisconsin, all of Montana, and then the elevated terrain of the Rocky Mountains, seeing mighty cold weather. Are you watching from the Pacific Northwest? We have temperatures there right now that are in the 40s as we take a look. Now let's shuttle over and take a look at that radar, shall we? We don't have a lot of heavy precipitation in the form of snow going on now. It is exiting Colorado, where it has been snowing for some time. But now the system is working its way toward the east coast. We have a few snow showers in parts of North and South Dakota, but the heavy rain is making its way through northern Kansas, central parts of Illinois into Indiana, northern Indiana, and it's going to start mingling with those cold air temperatures, right? And that's the problem. This storm system that is going to race will plant itself right here in the mid-Atlantic states and bring chances of snow to New York, Pennsylvania. There could be mixed precipitation in parts of Ohio, Indiana, as well as the elevated terrain of the Virginias. Let's get to the latest, but you see there's a few snow reports to pass along to you. Let's go in and take a look at some of the rain areas here from central parts of Kansas, where in Salina, Wichita, and out towards Kansas City is some of the heavier showers of rain between Kansas City and, say, Joplin out there in Missouri. Now, as we look off to the east, Fort Wayne, Indiana, Indianapolis with Springfield, Missouri, and Illinois, seeing some very heavy rain in that area. And as we look out towards Pittsburgh, it's just starting to get gray. Not all of this reaching the ground yet, but it won't take long. Columbus, Ohio, heavy showers of rain there. This system is on its way. We'll take a look at that. But first, let's take a peek at some of the snowfall reports that did hit the area in Colorado, particularly the mountains of Colorado. Are you a skier? Check this out. And look at the Sierra Nevada as well. The snowfall amounts out in these areas was quite impressive. Let's go first to the Sierra Nevada and zoom in on that. The colors that you see in the key, the bright red color, 18 to 24 inches of snow, and the highest amount Hutch sees here is 31 inches of snow reported 1 mile northeast of South Lake, California, and 26 inches here on the south side near Long Pine, California. Now, look at the Colorado area. Look at Idaho Falls in southern Idaho, 3 or 4 inches with the blue dots. So we see out near DIA in Denver, not as much of an impact for travelers flying into Denver. There are 3 inches of snow. That's manageable, and the system is exiting. Get into the foothills, that quickly ramps up to 7 inches of snow as we go into Crescent Village, 17 inches of snow at Eldora. Now, if you're skiing, check out some of the other ski places out here. 20 inches reported at Copper Mountain. And when we go down south just a little bit here, Crested Butte, seeing 26 inches of flaky goodness for skiers. Gunnison, 22 inches of snow there. Now, that wet system is working its way east toward the east coast. Let's go ahead and take a look at that forecast. To do that, we're going to look at the European model, and let's get to the details on the track and timing of snow. By morning, it's going to be changing in a big way for many of you along the east coast. I'm going to use and call on the European model. That's what you're looking at here. We have a Hudson Bay low setting up shop right now. That Hudson Bay low is keeping a northerly flow across much of the northern Great Lakes area. That northerly flow is causing some lake effect snow in some of these areas, and it's importing some mighty cold air that you saw is already in place in parts of Regina, the Dakotas, Montana, and even the Colorado Rockies. Here's the low pressure system we're watching. That's going to race off to the east. What's the timing? We'll show you. Notice that most of the nation will remain quiet. We'll have a few snow showers in British Columbia down into the mountains of western Montana. The Dakotas could see just cold air crystals of ice form. Even if you burp, it's going to turn into a snowflake down the road somewhere. The cold air just can't hold any moisture at all. Now, as you take a look at this low pressure system, you're looking at midday. So when does the rain and shower activity start? It looks like it starts in the morning as rain with the south winds ahead of the storm system, bringing that warm Gulf Stream air off of the mid-Atlantic states into the elevated terrain. We're going to focus in on the area of concern in and around the state of New York. So if you're watching, watch tomorrow, shall you? And check out and see what you're seeing with regards to the parade. Are they even going to have it? That'll be very interesting. It looks very rainy and wet for Long Island, New York, Manhattan, as we look into parts of Rhode Island, Delaware, Massachusetts. Wet with snow showers in parts of northern parts of New York or upstate New York, Concord, New Hampshire, Virginia, all the way up into Maine, as well as areas of northern Pennsylvania, rather. Okay, now the north winds take hold. That'll start drawing that cold air down. Look at the dark blue. This is some moderate to heavy snow showers. So this is going to be central New York, on up from Utica, down up into parts of central Maine, outside and north of Bangor. And the wind then really picks up. When the wind becomes northerly and northwesterly, we'll start to see that cold air fetch some water off of the Great Lakes, and we'll get some added lake effect snow. Now let's take a look at rainfall and snowfall amounts for the area. We'll start with snow from the European model here. And as we take a peek at the snowfall potential with this system, you're going to see very wide areas getting huge amounts of snow. These global models like the European, they tend to overblow the aerial coverage of the heavy snow, but they do give us a range and they do give us some guidance with regards to that. I am going to switch over to a higher resolution model right now to take a look at the snowfall potential with this system. Let's go ahead and take a look at this model, shall we, and see as we let this draw out here. Here we go. Now, the snowfall potential as we go into Black Friday morning is really going to be quite heavy in central parts of New York, particularly Buffalo, Syracuse, and on up into northern parts of New York. How about northern Pennsylvania? Well, we'll see most areas picking up a trace to 3 inches of snow on this particular model. Get into the northern reaches of New York. We're going to see some very heavy snow bands setting up. 6 inches to a foot, not out of the question in the elevated terrain. Same thing goes for Vermont, New Hampshire, and northern reaches of Maine. No snow in New York City. No snow in Boston. What about moisture levels with this system? For that, we'll go ahead and take a peek at the precipitation total from this storm system. And if you do get snow, this is including that snow, but it's melted down into the liquid equivalent. And we see many areas of Pennsylvania getting upwards of a ½ inch of rain potential, even in western PA as this system moves through. In eastern PA, that really ramps up once this system starts fetching some humid air off of the mid-Atlantic coast, that warm water adding moisture to the system. That's going to be upwards of 1 inch or even more of liquid equivalent moisture for eastern PA and on up into Scranton. You get up into the Syracuse area, Buffalo, New York, and you get some added impacts from the lake, and you're going to see some areas there picking up some enhanced snowfall totals that could be over a foot for sure. And it looks like moisture levels that could be upwards of 2 inches of liquid equivalent moisture in this band of pink that you see here. This is not snow. This is liquid equivalent precipitation from the storm system. All right, now you do see that there will be some bands of lake effect snow on the northwest wind side of this system, say in the UP of Michigan on up into parts of Ontario as well as that system works its way through. Let's take a look at another area of the country, but this time we're going to take a look at that cold air mass that's going to be punching down. Now, as we take a look at the temperatures on this, we're going to look at the American model here, and what we will see when I switch this over to the temperatures are the colors, and we're looking at that purple blob up there, and look at the blue line. The blue line is the freezing line, so see how far south that goes as we go into your Thanksgiving Day. So the Rocky Mountains of Wyoming, Colorado, Utah, Idaho, Montana, all seeing single-digit readings. But look at the blue line move down as we go into Black Friday. Look how far south that cold air punches. Northern reaches of Alabama, Georgia, Mississippi, Arkansas, much of Oklahoma, seeing temperatures near freezing in those areas. So a cold Thanksgiving Day and Black Friday morning for those areas. Sub-zero temperatures are going to punch into the Dakotas, and they're going to plant there for a while and stay put. So they will be very cold traveling across the northern plains, Minnesota, the Dakotas, on into Montana, and the high country at elevation in the Rocky Mountain states. So be prepared for that. Be prepared for cold air travel across the nation this holiday season. All right, you can get the very latest for weather anytime, anywhere, and I'd love to have your comments dropped right here on what you think about hutchesweather.com. Hutchesweather.com, you can upload photos of the weather in your area, and that gives all of us a report that we can peruse. And also, you can get the latest road conditions for many areas in the northern plains specifically, but the interactive radar works anywhere we get radar data globally. Well, drop me a line, but mostly, I want you to have an awesome Thanksgiving Day, a safe Thanksgiving, and thank you so very much for watching Hutch's Weather.